Good evening, Eric Arnold here in the secondary studio. It is Wednesday, the 31st of August. The topic of tonight's video is going to be, who is Josh Shapiro? Josh Shapiro, Democrat candidate for Pennsylvania governorship. I did a video some weeks ago about who the Republican candidate is, who is Doug Mastriano, and now the counterpoint video, who is Josh Shapiro? This is an incredibly important race, not just for people here in Pennsylvania, but for all you other people out there that have any interest in who's going to win the presidential election in 24, which should be all of you, even you will, over there in England. It should interest you because Pennsylvania is going to be a key swing state in 2 years, and who's the governor is really important as to who's going to win. The governor exercises a lot of power as to who wins and who doesn't. So I'm not going to get into that now, but just trust me on that. That's why you need to pay attention if you're not from the state of Pennsylvania. All right? So let's get into it here. Who is Josh Shapiro? All right, Josh Shapiro, he's the current sitting attorney general here of Pennsylvania. He was born in 1973. He's about, well, he is 49 years old. He's not about, he is 49 years old. Looks like he was born in Kansas City. His father is Stephen A. Shapiro. He looks like he's around 74. He's a pediatrician, active doctor. I think he's still active. According to my notes, Stephen A. Shapiro lives in Montgomery County. That's where Josh Shapiro is living right now, Montgomery County. For those of you who don't know where that is, that's in the wealthy Philadelphia suburbs. Stephen A. Shapiro, chairman, Department of Pediatrics, Abington Hospital, Jefferson Health in Abington, Pennsylvania. And he's held that position for many years. Josh's mother apparently is an educator, according to Josh's website. So it looks to me like Stephen A. Was getting his doctor education in Kansas City when Josh was born. Then he moved into the Philadelphia area where he did his residency at Naval Regional Medical Center in Philadelphia, also at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. So that's where Stephen A. was getting himself set up to be a pediatrician, a doctor, and so he moved into the area, it looks like 1980-ish. It looks like Josh's Pennsylvania roots, if you will, begin around 1980. Now, Stephen A. has a Twitter account, his father, so we can tell he's a rabid Democrat, believes in masks, believes in science, he's an abortionist, etc. You know, your typical, Democrat orthodoxy right down the line, which I guess you could forgive him for because his son is the sitting Democrat attorney general running for governor. So, forgive the father for being a Democrat. It is what it is. So, Josh then goes to certainly high school. I don't know elementary school, but he definitely went to high school at what's called today Jack M. Barak Hebrew Academy. At the time he went was in Marion Station. That's in Montgomery County on the main line, if you know what that is. The main line. What's the main line? Philadelphia speak. Here's some Philadelphia education for you. The main line was a railroad, still is a railroad, built by the Pennsylvania Railroad, led out of Philadelphia, and it ran directly out west to Harrisburg, and that was where all the passenger trains ran. And because when they built the main line in the 19th century, all the economic activity developed around the main line. So a lot of rich people then started building their homes around the railroad. And a lot of old money to this day still collects, I guess if you will, around those communities on that main line. So that's what it's called, the main line. When the main line in Philadelphia speak means rich people. So they live in the main. This is where the Hebrew Academy that Josh went to school at. That's in the main line. He graduated approximately 1990. My notes say the tuition there now is about $30,000 to $35,000 a year. I'm sure it was probably similar in inflation-reduced dollars when he went to school there. So went to an exclusive Jewish, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that the Barak Hebrew Academy is a Jewish private school. Josh is Jewish. He doesn't hide that. He's proud of it. Why wouldn't he be? So he goes then to the University of Rochester in New York, and he's there from 1990 to 1995. Takes him 5 years to graduate. I think the reason for that was because he changed majors. I'm speculating here. I couldn't totally pin this down. This was kind of, through some interviews and whatnot that I read. I think he went there initially to be a doctor and then changed his mind and got into liberal arts or politics. I don't know what he graduated with as far as a major. I'm guessing poli-sci, political science. It was the same thing I have. So he graduated. His website says he was elected student body president as a freshman in 1992. That's pretty impressive. So he graduates in 95. Tuition at the University of Rochester today, $58,000 a year. Is that a lot? I don't know. So it's certainly a lot more than where I went to school. But whatever. So then he goes directly to Washington, D.C. And he's down there from 95 to 99, where he's a flunky for a very powerful senator from Michigan, Carl Levin. Also, then a representative from the Gold Coast of Florida, Peter Deutsch. And then he was also a senior advisor for Robert Torricelli. Remember him? The Torch, famously corrupt senator from New Jersey. So he's learning to cut his teeth on hardcore Democrat politics in Washington. Then, from 99 to 2003, he's the chief of staff for Joe Huffle. Joe Huffle, at that time, was the U.S. representative from Montgomery County. If you don't remember who Joe Huffle was, he was rated a 6 out of 100 by the American Conservative Union. In other words, 100 being, say, Jesse Helms or whatever, the most conservative person you could think of. 0 being Cortez, what's her name? AOC. That would be a 0. Well, Huffle was a 6, so he's about as liberal as it gets, and that is who Shapiro was the chief of staff for. So he spends almost 10 years in Washington learning to cut his teeth on hardcore Democrat politics. Also, during that time, he put himself through law school. I guess while by day learning to be a Democrat shark politician, by night he's going to Georgetown Law School. So he gets his law degree from Georgetown. Okay, now, then he sees an opportunity here in Montgomery County, gets elected as a state representative from Montgomery County, where he serves in Harrisburg from 2005 to 2012. He's a state rep from Montgomery County in Harrisburg. Then he resigns that position and becomes a county commissioner for Montgomery County, where he serves there from 2012 to 2017. Now, if you're thinking, well, that's a step down. That's why he goes from being a state rep to just a county commissioner. This isn't Podunk County where there are 3 people that live in it. Montgomery County is one of the biggest counties in the state, There's 67 counties in Pennsylvania, and Montgomery County is easily in the top 5. Let's see, Philadelphia, Allegheny, and probably Montgomery County's third, I would guess. So it's a huge county. County commissioner is easily a step up the ladder from state representative, I would say. So Josh is climbing the ladder here. So now he's a county commissioner, 2012 to 2017. Then in 2017, he gets elected as Attorney General of the whole state of Pennsylvania. And that's where he's at now. Let's see. He's married. He's married his high school sweetheart. He has a number of kids. Goes to Beth Shalom Congregation, Jewish synagogue. It seemed like he's a pretty practicing Jew as far as that goes to synagogue regularly. There you have that. Now, so my honest assessment of that is, well, he's a Democrat politician. He's cut his teeth in the politics in Washington. Certainly don't see a whole lot of law, using his law degree. Doesn't look like he ever tried a case before he was elected Attorney General. But, I don't see any real jobs here other than, working for politicians. So that's kind of my assessment there. This guy's policy positions, pretty much Democrat orthodoxy, although I'm going to get to that in a minute. I'm looking at his website here. He's got them alphabetically, A being first, abortion rights. Clearly, Josh Shapiro will protect your right to kill your baby. That's pretty clear. Now, he does think it's perfectly okay if you decide you want to kill your baby at, say, 8 or 9 months, and the mother says, you know what, I've decided, no, I'm not even going to go through this, kill it. And he's okay with that. He's okay with the mother being able to just 86 her, perfectly viable person at 8 or 9 months. Now, I don't know how that squares with his Jewish faith, but I don't know. But that's what he believes. Now, this is one that I had, I've actually read some of the stuff on his, I've read most of it, if not all of it, on his page here, as far as what he believes and his positions. And the one that I just like, oh my Lord, these people are just crazy. It's called Black Economic Equity. And the gist of this position is that he supports black businesses because in other words, the study that he links from his webpage makes the argument that if we just went to black businesses, the economic activity of this country would go up, 2, 3, 4 times. I forget what it actually says here. Let me look it up. Okay. Oh, here it is. The American economy would benefit from $5.9 trillion in additional revenue every year if we simply went to black businesses. That we would generate an extra $5.9 trillion in revenue every year if we simply frequented black businesses. That's amazing. So, it's linked as to the study. And in the study, it has a mention where it says, we assume that by going to a black business, you're not taking away from some other business. It's like, wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. In other words, if I want to buy a lawnmower and I decide, you know what, I usually go to Bob's hardware store, which is right down the street from me, and I know Bob, so maybe I'll go there. But I've never considered going to Sam's hardware store across town. Sam's black, but I never really gave that any thought. But now I'm told that I can generate all this more economic activity simply by going to Sam's. What they're saying is that by going to Sam's, I did not take business from Bob. Like, I'm going to go buy 2 lawnmowers. Like, I'm going to buy one from Bob and I'm going to buy one from Sam. I'm not going to do that. I only need 1 lawnmower. I don't need a white lawnmower and a black lawnmower. I just need a lawnmower. 1. So it's a ridiculous argument that these economists, I don't even know they're economists. I can't imagine. It's like, are economists that dumb? I mean, that doesn't make any sense at all that, by patronizing a black business won't take economic activity away from anywhere else. Well, of course it does. It's a zero-sum game. I mean, you go to one store, you didn't go to the other. So that's how they come up with this number, this 5.9 trillion, if you simply go to black businesses. What? It makes no sense whatsoever. And this is what Josh believes as far as economic theory. It's nonsensical Democrat politician claptrap that has no basis in the real world. None. So that was one of my favorites that was on his website. The rest is pretty much your standard critical race theory, empower the schools, de-empower the parents. I'm tough on crime. No, he isn't. I mean, my God, this guy's been the attorney general now for how many years? Meanwhile, Philadelphia's falling apart, murders everywhere. This didn't used to happen. This is what this guy is, he's your typical Democrat, leftist, liberal as it gets politician. Now, this is what just spurred me to make this video tonight. I got exercise just a few hours ago, and let me show you why. Here is an AP. Well, let me find. Oh, no, I didn't flip off that page, did I? Oh, gee. Here it is. All right, AP article. Apparently, Josh. Now, the state of this race at the moment is. It's very close. It is very close. It is neck and neck between Shapiro and Mastriano. Shapiro has all sorts of money. He is being supported by the usual suspects, the Democrat Party, which is very wealthy, the tech, the billionaires, the oligarchs, the whatnot, all support the current Democrat orthodoxy. And so Shapiro is rolling in cash for his campaign. Mastriano is all by himself. He's been ostracized by the GOP, certainly in the state of Pennsylvania, just because this guy didn't play nice during the pandemic. When the GOP was licking the boots of Tom Wolf during the lockdowns and whatnot, Mastriano was out banging on drums, making a lot of noise. He also made a lot of noise after the election as far as saying, this is bullshit, this is not fair, there's no way that we followed our own election laws here in the cycle of 2020. Now, you can dispute that one way or the other, but that's what Mastriano did. So he is not in with the Republican Party here in Pennsylvania. He's all by himself, basically. He's beholden to no one. So Shapiro ads are all over the place. Mastriano, you might see the stray billboard here or there. I've not seen one TV ad from Mastriano. None. I haven't even seen an internet ad from Mastriano. So I'm not sure what how he's campaigning or what he's doing, but the race is tight. It's very tight. I'll tell you why I know this in a minute. Now, to hear the political press tell it, it's not that tight. In other words, there was a Franklin and Marshall poll that came out here within a week or two. That's a liberal college in Lancaster. They come out with their polls every cycle. They're notoriously erroneous. I believe they had Trump down 12 points a month before the election in 2016, and Trump won Pennsylvania by 2 points. So they were 15 points off. It's like, how do you guys keep your job? Or are you just not even trying to be accurate? You're simply propaganda. So that's Franklin and Marshall. They had Mastriano down, 13? Something like that. 14. No, some other polls have got him down 10. It's not that big of a deficit. It's very close, very close. There's a few reputable polling outfits. Trafalgar, that's a Republican outfit. They had him down, I think, 3. It's probably close to that. Now, here's why I think it's very close. Shapiro suddenly is disavowing some of his leftist positions. What? Holy cow, what? Suddenly, Shapiro is moving to the right. Because these people all think you're stupid and have no knowledge of history or whatnot. You know, maybe they just think you're ignorant and don't know the facts, and they can get away with this. But he gave an interview to the Associated Press on Monday. So let me just look at this and read you some of this. Now he's running to succeed Wolf as governor. Shapiro says he is against some of the same COVID-19 containment measures that his fellow Democrat used to help manage the nation's worst pandemic, blah, blah, blah. So suddenly he's against the containment measures, the lockdowns? Oh, my God. So, quote, "This is an area where I think folks got it wrong," Shapiro said of school and business shutdowns. On mask and vaccine mandates, Shapiro said he opposed them and instead talked about a need to educate and empower the public, business owners, school leaders, and others to protect themselves and others. What? Lie! That is such a lie! This is the guy who is going to court. He went to court again and again and again and again to defend all the lawsuits of us people here that were being suffocated, having our businesses ruined, wanting the governor to take a collaborative approach to this pandemic rather than going it all his own with his one-size-fits-all idiocy. And Shapiro, as Attorney General, went all along with Tommy the Commie and defended all of Tommy the Commie's edicts and orders and whatnot. He was a henchman. He was all on board, said not a word contrary to any of these goddamn lockdowns, mandates, nothing. He didn't say anything. Now, suddenly, 2 months from the next gubernatorial election, he suddenly decides he was actually against the lockdowns and the mandates? That is a lie. You can't possibly believe this. No one could believe this. No honest or intelligent person could believe that. That is such a lie. It's unbelievable. He also then, the article written by Associated Press, which is a Shapiro outlet, any press outlet other than the New York Post and perhaps Fox News, is deep in the pockets of the Democrats. They also point out he's against the greenhouse initiative to jack up our electricity prices. That's again a lie. He has not come out and definitively said, I reject that. Mastriano has said as loudly and as clearly as he can, on day one, I'm going to get Pennsylvania as far away from that idiot thing as possible. Shapiro's trying to have it both ways, where he's trying to quietly say, well, I don't really support that, hoping that his crazy a leftist Marxist base of college idiots who have never had a job in the real world won't know that he's not for the green orthodoxy, which of course he's for it. And of course, as soon as we elect him, he's going to hook us up with the greenhouse initiative and our gas prices and our electricity prices, natural gas prices, our oil price. It's going to skyrocket. It's going to skyrocket, just like it has in the whole Northeast, where all the other liberal governors have latched themselves onto this idiotic scheme. So of course he's for that. Just like he was for the lockdowns. Don't lie and say you weren't now. It's ridiculous. And the way it's like, are you kidding me? You want me to believe you that you were not for this stuff? Are you fucking kidding me? This is an area where I think folks got it wrong. And then he goes, that's all, the only quote that the AP has here. This is an area where I think folks got it wrong. You're going to have to do better than that, Josh Shapiro, if you want me to actually believe that you either A, had a change of heart, B, believed against all these lockdowns all along. Where were you if you didn't think these things were right? We could have used your help, you bastard. We could have used your help. You could have been a very powerful voice here in Pennsylvania for sanity. You could have negotiated with the governor. He certainly wasn't going to negotiate with us, the Republicans, people on the other team, but you were on his team. You might have been able to tell him, hey, let's kind of, take it easy here. Why are we ramming this down people's throats? People are losing their jobs because they don't want this vaccination. You're forcing them to choose between feeding their family and getting this vaccination, which they're leery of, and as it turns out, for good reason. What? But he didn't do that. He didn't do any of that. He didn't do any of that. He carried Tommy the Commie's water like a good soldier, and now he wants us to believe that he didn't believe in doing it while he did it. What does it matter? You did it. Even if you didn't believe in it, you certainly did it. I think you're lying, and you believe in all this stuff right down the line, and you're just trying to trick us and saying, oh, well, I didn't really believe in that. No. If you want me to even believe a little bit that you actually believe in what you're saying, this is an area where I think folks got it wrong. No, who are folks? You! You are folks. You, not me. I'm the one that said this is bullshit. Doug Mastriano is the one who said this is bullshit. You got it wrong. So if you want us to believe that you're sorry about this, then you get on your knees. You get on your knees and you beg. You beg for forgiveness. You beg for forgiveness. Flagellate yourself. You flagellate yourself. Or better yet, why don't you go to every house here in the state of Pennsylvania, knock on the door, and kiss our asses, begging for forgiveness for your role in this goddamn pandemic? You bastard. How dare you try to tell us now that you were not for these lockdowns and these vaccination mandates, you son of a bitch, these masks mandates, which carry on to this day. To this day. There are areas in the liberal corners of this state where they're forcing you to wear masks. Where are you, Josh Shapiro? If you get on your soapbox and you say as loud as you can till the fucking election day that these mandates and these masks are wrong, maybe I would believe you're sincere. But you're not going to do that because you don't. You're a hypocrite and you're a liar. I actually might have more respect for Tommy the Commie, Tom Wolf the Communist, and John Fetterman, Lieutenant Governor, similar, running for senator, also a communist. At least they own their thuggery. At least they own their authoritarianism. They're not like now going, well, gee, I never really thought this was the right thing to do. I'm not sure how he would do that because he's the one that was making the decision. I guess he'd say something like, well, Joe Biden and the FBI, they broke into my home and they were blackmailing me. They said if I didn't go along with this, that Hunter would have sex with my wife. So I had to go along with it, whatever. But they haven't done that, so I have just that much respect for those guys because at least they own their thuggish authoritarian ways. Shapiro? You gotta be kidding me, man. You are disgusting. That is disgusting. You are a thug. You are a liar. You're a hypocrite. You're a bastard. So, there you go. I guess that wasn't very neutral at all, was it? But that just really fried my ass, that this guy wants you to think he's a moderate. He's a moderate like Joe Biden is a moderate. Joe Biden told us he'd be a uniter, that he would bring this country together. Tomorrow night he's going to get on TV and call me a fascist. That's uniting. Hooray for us. Let's all unite. Yeah, Joe Biden, the uniter. And Josh Shapiro, cut from the same cloth. I swear. So that's how I know that this race is just that close. Because if Josh Shapiro has to resort to this kind of a desperate measure, where he's now going to try to convince you that, well, I'm actually against mask mandates. Are you fucking kidding me? Where was this? When did you say this? What? Are you kidding? Are you kidding? Oh, my God. He must be completely desperate. All his money, all his ads, and he's losing. He must be losing because this is the last act of a desperate man. Unbelievable. Hey, that's all I have for you. I believe in free speech. I'm Eric Arnold. Now, I don't know how much longer I'm allowed to say or make videos like this the way the country's going. But I still believe in free speech, and I'm going to speak it when I see this kind of rank hypocrisy, this blatant lies, just trying to gaslight you. Holy shit. You need to hear somebody tell it the way it is. So, there you have that. I'm Eric Arnold signing off. I believe in free speech.